When we watch someone play music online, we often expect that the notes we hear come straight from the fingers of the person behind the screen. And of course, almost always that is the case. But sometimes, these flawless performances might be hiding something we don't notice. Let me introduce you to a pianist who goes by the name PianoKage. On the surface level, he just looks like another small underrated channel with a lot of positive feedback. But as someone who has been playing the piano for almost a decade now, I have found some things that make me question not just the authenticity of his playing, but much more. Before taking a closer look at his channel, I want to first start with one thing, the forearm rotation technique. It is a technique that involves rotating the arm as opposed to just wiggling your fingers. Take a look for example at probably the most popular anime pianist out there, Pianist. In his merry-go-round of life arrangement, he uses this technique with his right hand. This part is very difficult to play, even though it may not look like it. There's not that many people I've found that can play it as good as Pianist can, but there is one, isn't there? At first glance, it looks impressive, too impressive in fact, but if you slow it down and really watch his hands, something feels off. Look at his right hand, especially the pinky. Instead of rotating the forearm like Pianist does, his hand looks unusually stiff and there's barely any rotation at all. To understand the forearm rotation more, think of your thumb and pinky like two kids on a seesaw. When one goes up, the other one goes down. They're constantly alternating. Without this natural seesaw rotation, your hand will be too stiff and this passage will be nearly impossible to play clean. So here's the question, how does he manage to get such a clean and fluid sound without actually using the right technique? Well, that's exactly what this video is about. PianoKage's earliest YouTube upload dates back to February 2018. It is an airport performance. Assuming from a few of his replies, he started playing the piano around the beginning of 2017. So despite only playing for a little over 1 year, it was a good performance. But then, silence. His second public video appears in May 2022. There's a comment asking him where his old videos went, but I couldn't really find more about them. This time, he covers the climax of an arrangement by Pianist, and weirdly enough, it sounds perfect. It's far beyond the skill level he showed back in 2018. It might be possible to improve this significantly in just 4 years, but what comes next is highly suspicious. He takes a 5-month break and uploads this video. Got worse? Suddenly, the quality drops and his progress looks much more believable compared to his last video. This one should also be technically easier to play than the previous one. So how come he struggles? You might think that maybe he recorded them at different times, but would you get surprised if I told you both of these arrangements came out in the same year? His leap in playing doesn't add up. He continues to upload 2 more videos, both showing the same skill level as the one I showed you. However, in his 6th video, uploaded just 1 month after the previous one, the quality goes up significantly. There is absolutely no sign that just 27 days back he struggled playing another arrangement by Pianist. This is a kind of leap that would make sense if it was years apart, but just 27 days? This is not how progress looks like. This is a magic trick. So how exactly does he fake these videos? Here's what I believe is going on. First, he plays along with a metronome. You can see it in all of his videos. It is this flickering button here, here, or here. If we choose the right BPM and play it side by side with his playing, see, it matches perfectly. Next, he never actually records the audio from his playing. He only captures the video, not the real audio. He most likely uses a music software to create the audio track separately. Since both the video of him playing and the audio track follow the same BPM, his finger movements mostly align with the audio when he puts it all together. This creates the illusion that what you see and hear is real. Because his actual playing is not perfect, there are moments when his movements and fingers don't quite line up with the sound, and that that's where I can prove that this theory is true. In fact, I already showed you one of those moments at the beginning of the video. Do you remember the forearm rotation technique? How his pinky doesn't lift off the keys, yet it should? Those are the moments we're looking for, and boy, is there a lot. A lot of the time, he manages to sync the video with the audio so well you cannot even notice it in slow motion. Look at this clip. However, sometimes he rushes in a bit. He plays A sharp here, but the note sounds much later. And there's more moments like this. Apart from these sync problems, he sometimes plays stuff completely wrong. Take the rotation technique again. Same in this clip. Each octave should be played 3 times before moving on to the next one. On top of that, he hits a lot of wrong notes that don't make it into the final audio. This isn't random either. The way he misses notes is always the same. He presses 2 keys at once. One is correct and the other is wrong. You can see it here, 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 or here. I could go much deeper and find even more examples, but this is plenty. It's clear that this isn't just a few innocent mistakes here and there that he might edit out in the final audio. This is a performance designed to fool you, to fool anyone watching him play into thinking he's a piano virtuoso. If there's one thing people like to admire almost as much as his flawless playing, it's his arrangements. His very first one was a cover of Golden Hour, and it sounds very good. So good that you would think the person who arranged it had a deep understanding of music and years of arranging experience. But in PianoKage's case, there's no visible progress. He seems to have skipped the years it takes to become a great arranger. Of course, it's possible he arranged other pieces during his 4-year absence, but here's the question. If he really is this talented, why does he spend so much time covering other people's arrangements? What is forcing him not to showcase more of his own stuff? Maybe he simply prefers to play other people's work? Or maybe he is not that good at arranging to begin with? In the description of his Golden Hour arrangement, he states that the whole arrangement is his, with only a small part being inspired by sheet music boss. But in the comments, someone points out that he copied the whole arrangement and only made small tweaks, which turns out to be true. The arrangement is nearly identical. In his second arrangement, he gives no credit to anyone, claiming it fully belongs to him. However, we can find yet another comment saying that many sections sound similar to the arrangement made by Fukane. You can clearly see how many spots are the same, with only slight modifications. Other parts do look different, but it's possible that he's combining multiple existing arrangements into one piece, effectively stealing from several people at once, maybe even from outside of YouTube, making it harder for people to trace and easier to pass off as his own work. Of course, without finding the originals, I cannot prove this, but to me, there's a much simpler explanation. If someone is already comfortable faking their performances by overlaying perfect audio, what's stopping him from faking his arrangements too? On top of all this, he sells some of his work online. On his Buy Me a Coffee page, he sells sheet music and MIDI files of his performances. Now, those files are most definitely produced by him, but since the notes themselves probably come from someone else's arrangement, it feels unfair to sell them as his own. What really caught my attention, however, is this. He sells some arrangements made by Animents too. He reproduces his work, sometimes making small tweaks, packages it into a MIDI file and sells it. Once again, he seems to be profiting off off someone else's creativity while giving them nothing. There are no Animens credits in the descriptions either. Some buyers would likely walk away thinking they just bought a completely original PianoKage arrangement. Only one of the sheets he sells ever mention Animens, and even then, the credit is tiny, written on the sheet itself. He also stamps his name to it, claiming a collaboration even though most of the work belongs to Animens. He does something similar in his YouTube videos. In many of his Animens covers, the credits are hidden at the bottom of the description. From reading the comments, few people seem to be confused about where the credits even are. This might sound like a small detail, but when you look at the bigger picture, the fake performances, the suspiciously instant arranging skills, the uncredited MIDI sales, it all points to the same conclusion. His career wasn't built on talent, but on deception and the work of others. One of the sneakiest moves PianoKage pulls is how he manages his comment section. 6 months ago, I posted this comment. And no, don't worry, I wasn't just sitting around picking my nose for half a year. When I received absolutely no feedback, I got immediately suspicious. I went back to the same video, switched accounts, and to my surprise, the comment was gone. And this is not just a one-time incident. It's likely that other critical comments get deleted too. But since the only feedback that remains is positive, people might assume the accusations were wrong. With no responses, doubt quickly disappears, and people never question whether their own comments might have been removed. This way, PianoKage makes sure only praise stays visible. It's no wonder his like to dislike ratio is so good. It makes it look like everyone loves his videos, but the truth is that most people just haven't figured him out the way I have. Before I finish, I want to make one thing very clear. This video isn't about trying to ruin PianoKage's life or turn hate against him. That is not my goal. My purpose here is to open people's eyes, to show that not everything you see on the internet is true. I don't wish any harm on PianoKage, but I believe it's important for his loyal and passionate fans to know the full story. Many people love him, some have even asked to request songs, willing to pay. It really goes to show how much they believe in him. But what he's doing isn't just unfair to those fans, it's a deep disrespect to anyone who's ever learned piano, picked up an instrument, or hell, worked hard to improve at any skill. I don't want people to spread hate or toxic comments under his videos, but the truth has to come out, because only with the truth we can appreciate genuine talent and hard work, and recognize when someone's cutting corners and misleading others.